Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining me. If you could do me a favor and leave a like on this video, it would go a long way toward getting the information it contains in front of the people who it was meant for. And this is something we're going to want to do for this video because the information it contains is very profound and has potential to create a lot of shifts for a lot of people. And I've already been putting the information into practice. What I'm about to tell you is something that came from a little coaching session between myself and my Pleiadian aspect. So take notes, listen as many times as you need to, do whatever you need to do. But you should know it has been made known to me that a lot of the old souls right now are vibrationally compatible for way more quantum-like experiences than they are getting their hands on. And I think about that image of the little cartoon of the person tunneling through the earth and they stop right before they get to the diamonds. A lot of you are in that situation, and a lot of you are getting right to that threshold, but then being turned away by, lower dimensional conditioning, basically. So let's go ahead and get into it right now. So let's say you sit down to meditate and you still yourself, you quiet your mind the best you can, you put everything on the back burner that you can. So in those moments, you'll notice that you have a feed of chatter. And, that feed of chatter will look a lot like this. It will talk about things that happened during your day. It'll talk about something that person said. It'll even go back to childhood memories. It'll play songs. You'll think about movies and entertainment and all of those things that our third dimensional 3D lives consist of. And a lot of the time, it is our instinct as meditators to try to quiet that feed. But I'll let you know that is completely the wrong and the opposite approach to take, especially if you're looking to cultivate awareness and information and clarity and get distinguishable things that you can then implement into your daily life. So something that you should know about that feed of chatter is that it is meant to hold your attention. So that chatter is feeding you things that it thinks that you will be interested in and that you'll want to engage in. So we are not actually looking to quiet the chatter. We're looking to change the frequency of the chatter that is coming into the stream. So something happens when you go into meditation and you don't try to eliminate the chatter, you just let it run, but you don't attach to it. So the difference is you might sit down in meditation and the chatter takes you completely out of it, and then 10 or 20 minutes has passed and you'll realize that you have followed that that thread of chatter for all of that time, and you've neglected your meditation. And then you'll turn over in frustration. This is what always happens. I'm not progressing. I'm not doing better. I'm not getting anything new. Let's just go to sleep and try again tomorrow. So you engaged in the 3D chatter and it eliminated anything else that you were trying to get from the experience. So if you let the chatter run, you don't attach to the chatter, and you hold your awareness right in the middle. You let it go, and 10, 12, 15, 20 minutes pass. I want to let you know that that chatter is going to notice that everything that it is pitching to you is not captivating you. It's not grabbing you. It's not pulling you out of the experience. It's not able to have you engage in the limitation and the linear dramas that it once could. So that subconscious chatter doesn't care what it's providing you. It just wants to captivate you in some way. And if the old tricks are not working, the station or the frequency that the chatter is functioning on will change. So if you can go 10 or 15 minutes without getting pulled away by the third dimensional stuff, you're going to notice that the inner voice and the manner in which it speaks to you and addresses you changes significantly. You're going to notice it's more straightforward. You're going to notice it's more informative. You're going to notice that the details and the meaning and the symbolism are all profound and tangible and meaningful and relevant to what your experience is and what you're trying to become. And if you can hold your awareness in that state, which you are vibrationally eligible to do so, it's just a matter of focusing your intention and, deciding what you engage in and what you don't. You're going to have the sudden realization that my higher self just fed information to me directly, and I perceived it and I retained it, and I can now implement it into my everyday routine. When the everyday 3D stuff is no longer captivating to your consciousness, then it will move on to other things. And once you're in a position where you can move on like that, it's going to stick with you through your, in your everyday life. And the information that you're getting is going to be high level to the point where you're going to have to cut it off. You're going to say, okay, higher self, I've taken 2 pages of notes today, I'm going to take a break. Or, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I've been getting downloads here in my bed for over an hour, I'm going to go ahead and go to sleep now. And something interesting is going to happen when you establish that dynamic. You're going to notice that you do not have any desire to listen to a channeling. You'll have no desire to get a reading. You'll have no need to locate anything outside of yourself to validate what you feel internally. So you are vibrationally eligible. If you are not tired of the old third dimensional games enough to enter into something new, your guides are going to make sure that you're tired. They're going to make sure that you're worn down. They're going to make sure that the 3D paradigm that you're trying to hold on to is no longer compatible with your being. So make it easy on them, make it easy on yourself, engage in things that are new, remove the fear of it, proceed into what's next for you confidently, and a lot of that confidence is going to be generated by feeling informed. And it needs to be internal information because you're not really going to be able to scratch that itch externally. So, speaking of that, you may have noticed that during your life, your extra sensitivity has felt like a burden or a curse. And in my situation specifically, I could not make friends. I didn't want to hang out with groups of people. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to go to church. I didn't want to play sports. And basically all of that was because in any kind of environment that was not my basement bedroom was almost too much to stand. Because in those groups, everybody's energy, everybody's judgment, everybody's negative survival internal dialogue was piling and piling and piling on top of me for whatever duration I was exposed to it. But I want to let you know that that same sensitivity that made me dysfunctional in society is the same sensitivity that I need now to be an Akashic Records practitioner at the highest level possible. So be prepared, family, to turn your weaknesses into strengths and then to use those strengths on behalf of everybody. The period of being overwhelmed and disoriented by your sensitivity is coming and going, and you are meant to turn that on the opposition and make it your strength. Embrace your sensitivity. It is a superpower of yours. It's not a luxury that you really enjoyed in a less empowered state. But now you're empowered. Now you're informed, and nobody can really impose the things that belong to them onto you like they once could. So speaking of that, you may have noticed as a healer that your parents gave you an awful lot that needs healed. And before you incarnated, you and your parents, the souls who are your parents in this incarnation, had an objective. We're bringing a healer into the world to tip the scales here in the favor of the light. What's the best way that we can do that? Well, one thing that we can do is have an unbalanced experience ourselves, and through that, our child will become the healer that they were meant to be because of their experience. It's hard. The parents that you have that have done you so wrong were actually giving you a gift. They were providing you a service, and they were providing Gaia and humanity a service by sacrificing themselves. So think about it. That's not always the case, but a lot of you are going to really resonate with that. And a lot of you even have siblings who are not the healer that you are, and even though you have transcended what you were given during childhood, a lot of your siblings have not. Because you're the healer. You're the one who was meant to learn from those experiences and turn them around on this place. But now is the time, family, if you have the opportunity to offer your siblings and your parents who gave you these gifts the opportunity to heal. Use your knowledge, use your wisdom, use your understanding of the way that energy works. Use your awareness of universal language and send them resources that will tip the scales for them back in a positive direction. If your parents are elderly, send them resources of love and light and let them live the rest of their years here through a healthier, more positive lens that contains a lot of wonder, bliss, and childlike fun. So that's the least that we can do. And so next thing, in my last video, I mentioned some of the work that we're doing in Dreamtime, and that how a lot of old souls are having some shakeups in those areas. Something that I'm doing, we're all doing a number of different things. We're in an environment that is timeless in that state of being after all. We're not restricted by time or space. We can go and do anything that is asked of us unrestricted by the limitations. And, a lot of the work you're doing in your astral is what your specialty is. And it's the entire reason that you've anchored yourself in the suit. So even if you feel like you're not performing the way that you could or should, the chances are that you are fully engaged in your potential while you're sleeping. And something interesting that's happening is that some of you are going on tour and doing interviews. And I'm serious when I tell you that the rest of the universe, the rest of the cosmos is fixated here, and they want to know what your experience is desperately. They want to hear about the brave souls who would come to a place like this, understanding that it's influential over the entirety of universal consciousness. And they see you as celebrities and heroes, and I don't say that to stroke the ego. I say that so that you understand who you are. I say that so that you understand why you're seen, and I say that to put an importance on the work that's being done here. And it helps us to do that, to know that there are others who are looking in, and they're kind of awestruck about what we're able to accomplish and what the experience is here. And what is this experience here? What have we been going through the last 11,000 years in the separation that we've been through? Why was the advanced civilization that we had established before kind of wiped off the board? And this is controversial, but one of the reasons the conditions here are the way that they are, one of the reasons that the souls who have incarnated to take on this task are so revered, is because we are eliminating from the equation entities and beings who have been disturbing and causing chaos through the entirety of the cosmos for a very, very long time. And those beings right now think that if they make the right sales pitch to humanity, even in their awakened, enlightened state, that they'll be able to stay. They think that if they do lose the battle here, which they already have, that they can move on and continue their dirty work in other places. Let me state this very, very clearly. They cannot. This is the end of the line. This is where the buck stops. And eliminating the sick aspects of consciousness from the universal equation is something that every being who exists within the dimensional spaces benefits from and are grateful for. It took us nearly 100,000 years to refine consciousness to the point where it could recover and get to the position that we're in now. So if you want to know why you should wake up in the morning, old soul, this is why. If you want to know why you should continue the work, why you should grind, why you should persist when everything within you doesn't want to do it anymore, this is why. You are saving countless suffering and you are cleaning up consciousness and creation in focused efforts here on earth as a human being, and that is something that is worth giving it our best for. And by the way, we will replant our giant trees, and they will be beautiful, and you'll be able to see them from continents away. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. I hope this information brings the shift that you were hoping for, and I hope you have a lot of fun putting some of these things into practice, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye.